Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to bring you another character review. I'm loving this series so far, and we're gonna go with the character that's been requested a lot since we started, Moon Knight, baby. Now, Moon Knight is another one of my favorite characters, which is why I invested in his tier 2. He is also an amazing character with his tier 2. Unfortunately, without it, he's kind of average. He's just a combat character with decent damage and one iframe. Nothing more that's very special about him. But fortunately, when he gets his tier 2, he becomes an absolute beast out there shrekking with the best of them. And he becomes near inkillable or unkillable with the right setup. So that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we're going to get into. But first, let's get into the skill preview. Let's see what we're working with, guys. Let's take on our best, what do we call them? Oakley sunglasses, and we'll do our best Guy Fieri impression. Let's see what's cooking. So, pretty straightforward character. Cool. Looks kind of like Batman if I'm going to start my DC references early. I don't know too much more about him. I think like he has like powers from the moon or something. I honestly don't know. You comic book buffs can correct me in the comments. I have never read a Moon Knight comic in my life, but I've seen a lot of the covers and they look pretty badass. So at least the artwork is pretty cool. So let's get into it, guys. His 1-star skill is pretty average. It's just 3 strikes. Nothing too special. 2-star is pretty cool. Okay. This is a really good evasive skill. So if you see, Black Dwarf is going to charge or Thanos' laser beam is coming, you can get a pretty good distance on it, and you can try to get out of the way with just the movement from this skill. The damage is not very good, but it's all about the movement. It's all about that base. His 3-star skill is also an iframe, but it's pretty useless because it's just 1 or 2 hits and it's really low damage. So I honestly don't use this 3-star skill all that much because it just wastes too much time. Usually with Moon Knight, you're fighting against the clock, whether you're doing like alliance battle or you're doing world boss. So it's something to keep in mind. Moon Knight's 5-star skill is much better. It has a pull, it has a stun, and it has an AoE effect. So as you guys can see, we're gonna pull those guys. If I had a bigger group of mobs, if I turn the Aeon on, for example, I can stun like all these guys. Well, I just stunned 1 actually. There we go. We got 5 there. Pull them in, smack them. Pretty good skill, pretty decent damage for Alliance Battle Combat Day, as we've discussed before, and you guys can see I just stunned like 20 guys, which is really good. And then his 6-star skill is really his bread and butter. This is where he shines. So long iframe with a lot of hits, and then he glows white at the end. Now he's not turning into a KKK member, but he is applying a 5-second crit rate and crit damage, crit rate and attack speed buff. So it's just gonna raise his DPS for 5 seconds, which is pretty cool. The added DPS is definitely needed because that's what Moon Knight kind of struggles with. He's not the highest DPS combat character, and because a lot of his moves have long animations, they don't hit hard individually. Like for example, if you compare him to someone like Cho, Amadeus Cho hits a lot harder because a lot of his skills are just 1 or 2 hits. So all that damage is condensed or concentrated. But with Moon Knight, like this is like, a bunch of hits. This is a bunch of hits. This is 2 hits. This is like 7 or 8 hits. So it's good that he gets that buff. The really good thing about his 6-star skill with having a lot of hits is it's going to call down all of your world boss strikers if you have them all as when hitting. Because there's no way with that many hits that they're not all going to get summoned at least once. So that's really good, and of course it protects him. So overall his kit is pretty good for kiting and for doing damage and not getting hit. It's probably one of the better ones for combat. It looks really nice. I like these like faux batarang crescent moon things. If we're going to continue with the scumbag DC references. And I think I see the bat wing there in the background with the shadow. So I really like the animation on these skills. I think it's really cool. But of course, guys, I cannot mention Moon Knight's kit without mentioning his tier 2 passive. So we're going to look at it really quickly. Moon Force. When he goes under 30% HP, he gets a 30% max HP recovery, and that's on a 7-second cooldown. So as you guys are going to see in the clips to come, it's very hard to die with Moon Knight. It's definitely possible if you play too aggressively, which I have done. You will die because you'll just keep getting smacked and the 7 seconds won't come fast enough. That's what she said. But otherwise, it's pretty easy to keep him alive in that sense. So of course, because if you have tier 2 Antman, if you have tier 2 Moon Knight, you're gonna wanna go with a health recovery obelisk like I have there. I have one of the old ones. This is 96%, but you can find another one that has, you know, higher than that or whatever. And ideally, you want something like this for Moon Knight. It's got the recovery rate and it's got the increased damage for 1 time, and that will cover Moon Knight's one weakness, which is his damage. Moon Knight's kind of like Ant-Man, except instead of being invincible, he just keeps regenerating his health back. But he still suffers from low-ish DPS. It's higher than, excuse me, it's higher than Ant-Man's, but it's still not amazing. And so to clear game modes, to clear combat alliance battle, he definitely needs a push, and that's really gonna help him out. So that's what your kind of ideal is for Moon Knight if you're gonna tier 2 him. If you still have just tier 1 Moon Knight, you can go with either a damage ISO set and a damage obelisk, or a heal ISO set and a heal obelisk. But the heal ISO set is going to become pretty useless once you tier 2 your Moon Knight, so just keep that in mind, that you're either going to have to open another slot or you're going to have to re-roll your ISO set, which a lot of people don't like doing. So that being said, you might want to just wait until you tier 2 Moon Knight in order to invest then in his obelisk and ISO set. Now, because he has the heal, I don't have to give him a heal, so I don't have to roll a set like I Am Also Groot. So I rolled with Hawk's Eye because I want to just keep boosting his DPS, because he's already got the heals, he's already got the iframes. You know, he just needs more damage. And then for the gears, it's pretty straightforward: physical attack or all attack, all defense, HP, and I went with skill cooldown. There's some rumblings about defense penetration lately. It's something that we're gonna investigate, Scooby, but for now we're just gonna keep with the skill cooldown. So let's get into it, guys. We're gonna start with the world boss. I chose to do this video when it was Black Dwarf because Black Dwarf is probably, no, I'm gonna say it's definitely the most difficult world boss for Moon Knight and other physical characters to clear, aside from, of course, Infinity Thanos. So I wanted to try to get this one with Moon Knight today for you guys. This is the team that I often use because it's got 2 bonuses, which are really good. It's got the bonus between Moon Knight and Werewolf, I believe, and it's got the bonus between Werewolf and Elsa. Elsa provides the physical damage buff that Moon Knight's gonna need, and then Werewolf provides an additional buff for Moon Knight. I could also use, I believe I still have, no, I don't have She-Hulk anymore, so I can't use She-Hulk. Never mind. All right. Then for the strikers, we're just gonna go with physical attacking strikers who come in when I hit. I'm actually gonna pick Thanos here, not because I'm a scumbag, but because I want to prove a point, which is kind of a hidden talent or a hidden bonus for Moon Knight, is that because his heal just naturally procs, you don't have to worry about it. You can queue in, or you can select strikers that will come in when you get hit, because Moon Knight gets hit a lot, but that's okay because he heals it back. It's kind of the way that you're supposed to play the character. So I can set this team up and I can reasonably expect Thanos to come out quite a few times. Not as much as the other strikers, but I think enough that it's gonna make a difference here. So actually, I think, yeah, we'll change Cho for yeah, we're going to change Cho for Shirag. I did that because Shirag usually does her 5-star skill when I do the team up, and I want some chance at cracking his physical shield when you do the team up. Alright, here we go. So the main setup with this team is you switch to Werewolf, you buff, and then you pass that buff to Moon Knight, and then you just go apeshit. You don't have to really worry about dodging if you don't want. That's not what I do, and I can clear it. I'm not saying it's easy or it's like guaranteed. You will have to spend a couple of tries, but it's definitely something that's possible, and that's what I'm showing you guys this for. You definitely need to switch there because Moon Knight cannot tank that hit. So you need to switch in order to give your character the switch invulnerability bubble. We're gonna switch back. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna bounce the heal, or not the heal, the buff. Sorry. We're just gonna use the 3 and the 6, sometimes the 5, splash in a little bit of the 2. We never really use the 1. The 1 just puts him in a bad spot. We're gonna get out of the way here. We want to get one more 6 before he puts up the shield. We're looking pretty good here. We've only cracked about a minute, and we got more than 2 of his shields off. Again, we switch here. Elsa's 6 gets through his shield, so it's good to just push a little bit of damage. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, we want to switch here. Oh, I was trying not to get hit there. I was also trying not to get hit there. So the one bad thing about Moon Knight's tier 2 is that if you become too reliant on it, you can set yourself up to die. And it's not good to die, guys. From what I've seen, dying is kind of sucky in this game. Kind of sucks when you die. So you do want to be careful to take note of when the heal does proc, because then you are vulnerable for the next little while. Like there, I switched because I knew that my heal had procced recently, and oh, that's not good. Okay, I had to do that. So as you guys can see, sometimes his heal even comes in with him, which is really nice. And that's gonna be it. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. So it took about 2 minutes and 25 seconds, which is pretty good. It does take longer in general with physical heroes, but it definitely is possible. And you guys saw that Moon Knight's tier 2 passive was on full display. I would have not even come close to beating Black Dwarf without it. I can even beat Thanos this way, and it's pretty like simple gameplay. You just tap all of your skills, and in the rare moments that you take too much damage, you will switch out, and then you will go back to Moon Knight when you have a chance. We're just going to do a little bit more here with the Villain Siege so you guys can see how he plays out with a little bit less chaos on the screen. We'll go with She-Hulk, just to give him a little bit more damage, because I think Ultron has the most defense of any Villain Siege boss. But we'll see how the AoEs look. We'll see how the stun on the 5-star skill looks. I like doing this because it's different. You guys can see like a different aspect to the character. I can use his skill loadout a little bit differently, and you guys can see the stun does work. And the 6-star has a good amount of clearing potential for AoE. Now, because I can't show you guys Alliance Battle, it's not combat day, I can't show you how he clears mobs, but I will say that I may have overstated his usefulness or his ability to solo clear when I did my combat day video. He still needs help from someone like Deathlock for the leadership, because in the later stages, like after 2 million, after 200,000 points, it's really difficult for Moon Knight to clear the mobs out before the Frost Beast, and I have run out of time a few times when I try to just do a solo clear with Moon Knight, and I don't use Deathlock's clearing potential with his 6-star skill. So it's something to keep in mind. Moon Knight alone will not clear you combat AB, but he's very, very useful for it. And Moon Knight coupled with, you know, like Groot and Deathlock or something like that, Groot doesn't need to be tier 2, but it helps. But yeah, that kind of team can definitely clear. And he's similar in that sense to Iron Fist. Iron Fist alone will not give you a combat clear, but when paired with other characters, it makes it a lot easier. And as you may or may not know, combat AB is the most difficult one thus far, because of combat characters and the unavailability of someone as broken as Shirag or tier 2 Antman or tier 2 Black Widow. So, you know, it's something to keep in mind if you're gearing up characters, because gearing up a tier 2 Moon Knight will also give you a reasonably good or reasonably high combat AB score. Even if you can't clear, you'll go from like, you know, 90,000 on your score to like 180. It'll literally double your score just from Moon Knight because of the constant healing and because of the constant pressure that he can put on the Frost Beast. And even more, even a bigger score if you have him with a really sick obelisk. So we're just gonna go back really quickly into the character, guys, just to recap. So Moon Knight tier 1 is good but not great, just an average combat character like Giant Man. Obviously not world boss potential, or not world boss viable. With his tier 2, Moon Knight becomes an absolute monster. He gets a 30% HP recovery when he's at 30%, which basically will keep him alive through the roughest of storms, unless you're an absolute dumbass and you just, you know, heal him and then run right into danger again. His kit is pretty good. The 6-star skill Lunar Eclipse is where the damage and the protection really come together and perform like the perfect skill. The 5-star is pretty good for stunning mobs in alliance battle and stuff like that. The rest of his kit's pretty average. His passive is all defense and super armor, which is cool, but it's fine. The other great thing about Moon Knight is because when you get him tier 2, of course, you can select when hit strikers, because Moon Knight does get punched in the face a lot, but it doesn't really matter because he heals. Because he heals, you want a recovery obelisk. It synergizes the best with the character. And then because he's got all that healing, you don't need to have healing on his ISO set, so you want to go with more deeps to cover up his other weakness, which is a low average damage output. So that's it for the character review, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.